The day the pool fought back. How one grandpa took down the HOA queen with teeth. Chapter 1. The morning it all changed. The morning it all began, I was nestled on my front porch, sipping lukewarm coffee from my chipped mug that proudly read world's okayest grandpa. My old tabby, Junebug, was perched on the railing, tail flicking in slow disapproval at everything around her, as usual. The neighborhood was still. Birds chirped. Lawnmowers buzzed faintly in the distance. And then I saw her, Madeline Crutch, marching down the sidewalk like she was storming the beaches of Normandy. Clipboard in one hand, fanny pack cinched tight, lips pursed in permanent disapproval. She was the kind of woman who fined me $50 for decorative flags exceeding whimsy standards. Her stride, stiff and righteous, sent a chill up my spine. I knew that look. That look meant war. I'd lived in Mapleview Terrace for 33 years. Raised 2 kids, buried 2 dogs, and built the world's most uneven gazebo with my own hands. I love my little corner of suburbia. But no force on earth had tested my patience like Madeline Crutch, president of the Homeowners Association and self-appointed dictator of our neighborhood. She had transformed our once peaceful cul-de-sac into a Kafkaesque labyrinth of bylaws. We had rules for everything: grass blade height, mailbox font, curtain color uniformity, even a seasonal restriction on inflatable decor. And me? I was her favorite target. Not because I broke the rules more than anyone else. No, it was because I was the last one left who dared to say, "No, Madeleine, I will barbecue on my driveway if I damn well please." But that morning, something was different. She wasn't just inspecting flower beds or peeking at trash placement. She was headed for the community pool, and I knew, deep in my aging but defiant bones, that she was about to cross a line that no HOA president should ever dare cross. And I was right. Chapter 2. The Key to Chaos. I arrived at the pool 20 minutes later, as I always did, towel slung over my shoulder, ready for 10 peaceful morning laps. But the gate was locked. I reached into my pocket. No key. My bag. Empty. Then I saw it, dangling from Madeline's clipboard like a trophy. My pool key, tagged with a neon sticker that read suspended in bold block letters. I stood there for a long moment. Even Junebug, who had followed me that morning, let out an offended meow. This wasn't just about access. This was about dignity, ritual, peace. I stormed to Madeline's house, just 5 doors down, though it might as well have been Mordor. Her yard was immaculate to the point of being suspicious. Painted gnomes guarded flower beds like soldiers. Plastic flamingos were color-coordinated by season. Her curb numbers matched the trim of her shutters. She answered the door wearing a navy shirt that read "Obey the bylaws" or "Bye-bye." "Well, Gerald," she chirped, "what a pleasant surprise." "You stole my pool key," I said without so much as a hello. "I reclaimed it," she corrected me, smiling with teeth but no warmth. "You were in violation of Regulation 7C subsection 12.4. Unattended personal furniture in a shared area for more than 14 minutes. My chair was there for 20, she added with theatrical disgust. 20 minutes, Gerald. That's practically loitering. I left it there to pee, Madeline. The rules don't pause for bladders. And that was it. That was the moment something snapped in me. Not loudly, not like glass shattering, but quiet, like a branch giving way under snow. I looked her dead in the eye and said, "This means war." She chuckled, a little nervously. I walked away, muttering under my breath, "I hope the fish like chlorine." She didn't understand then. Nobody did. Chapter 3. Operation Bite Back. Back at home, my best friend Gus was waiting on the porch with 2 Diet Pepsis and a look that said, "What did she do this time?" I told him everything. He sipped, nodded slowly, and said, "So what's the plan?" I stared at the sky and answered, "I'm going to fill the pool with piranhas." He blinked. Then he laughed. Then he stopped. "You're serious?" Serious as a prescription heart monitor. And so began Operation Bite Back, the most daring aquatic insurrection in the history of HOA governance. Chapter 4. Planning a Splash of Mayhem. We got to work like 2 aging James Bonds with arthritis. Gus handled surveillance. I researched fish. It turns out piranhas are fascinating creatures, particularly the red-bellied kind. Fast, sharp, social like lawyers with fins. But you couldn't exactly find them at PetSmart. So we drove 2 hours to Exotica Pets, a warehouse run by a reclusive man named Dale who smelled like sardines and wore a lab coat unironically. When I said, "I'm looking for red-bellied piranhas," his eyes lit up like Christmas. "You boys looking to start a war?" "Something like that," I said. He leaned in. "They won't last long in chlorine. Maybe 4 hours. But they'll make an impression." That's all I needed to hear. Chapter 5. The Infiltration. Back in Mapleview, Madeline had doubled security. New padlocks. New signage. A laminated FAQ explaining the ban on unauthorized swimming noises. But she had forgotten one thing. Gus still had his old pool maintenance key from his brief stint on the HOA board in 2009. Under cover of darkness, during a light thunderstorm, we made our move. With containers sloshing gently in Gus's pickup, we parked 2 blocks away, crept through alleyways, and released 20 piranhas into the deep end of the community pool. They vanished silently into the water, unseen. "Waiting," I whispered. "Swim free, my sharp-toothed revolutionaries." Chapter 6. D-Day Dive Day. The next morning, the HOA gathered at the pool for an emergency compliance review. Madeline led the way, flanked by her 2 most loyal disciples. Brenda, a woman who once cried because someone painted their door lavender, and Todd, who measured Christmas lights with a ruler. We watched from my living room window like kids watching a prank unfold. She unlocked the gate dramatically. Stepped in, clipboard ready. She scanned for infractions, then walked to the pool. She leaned in, tilted her head, and then splash. A piranha surfaced for a brief second, slapped the water with its tail, and disappeared again. Madeline screamed. Todd dropped his notepad. Brenda fainted. Someone yelled, "There's something in the water!" And within seconds, chaos erupted. Chapter 7. The Fall of Madeline Crutch. Madeline, in full meltdown, accused local teenagers of eco-terrorism. She demanded someone call the Environmental Defense Agency. She shouted at the water, "As your HOA president, I demand you vacate this property." At which point, a piranha leapt and slapped her sun visor clean off into the water. It was glorious. Phones came out. Hashtags were born. A drone appeared. Within the hour, the video of the visor incident was trending online. Chapter 8. The Reckoning. That evening, Madeline called an emergency HOA meeting. The clubhouse was packed. Neighbors came with popcorn. Someone wore a Team Gerald shirt. Madeline tried to rally the crowd, accusing me of fish-based terrorism. But then Linda, 83, crocheter of angels, rolled to the front and said, "You find me for gnomes. You banned Halloween because of ghosts. You made us all live like prisoners. That man gave us freedom. With fish." Applause erupted. Todd voted to remove her as HOA president. Brenda, still traumatized, abstained. Madeline's reign crumbled before our eyes. She stormed out, defeated, her clipboard tucked under one arm like a broken sword. Chapter 9. The Aftermath. The pool reopened 3 days later. Clean. Joyful. There was music. Gus wore his band Flamingo trunks. Kids laughed. Adults laughed harder. I placed my lounge chair crooked on purpose. Junebug purred in approval. Madeline eventually moved to a new neighborhood called Serenity Glen and started a new HOA, where, rumor has it, visors are mandatory. I got a letter from her. No return address. Just my name and one line. "Congratulations. You've made a joke out of governance." I framed it. Epilogue, waves that last. Now, when I sit on my porch with my coffee, I see a neighborhood alive again. A kid sells lemonade. Someone hangs wind chimes that do tinkle too much. No one minds. And every once in a while, someone whispers, "Remember the piranhas?" Oh, we remember. Because sometimes it doesn't take a lawsuit or a protest to make change. Sometimes all it takes is a little bite.